James Russell, you hustling son of a...
It's me, your daddy, Roberto.
Man, boy's name that starts with the letter H. Jose.
Now look at me now. How far we go back? Elementary, jump rope, hide and go see, pity pat, red light, green light, red light, green light.
When you just talk about practice, we sitting here, I'm supposed to be the franchise player, and we're in here talking about practice. Not a game. We talking about practice. We talking about practice, man. But we talking about practice right now. We talking about practice.
You play to win the game. Hello? You play to win the game.
You are tuned into Straight Bet Sports on the Guerilla Cross Radio Network.
That's right, Wednesday night, just past 9 p.m. You are tuned in to Guerilla Cross Radio, and you are tuned in to Straight Bet Sports. Thank you for joining us. We are coming to you live all the way from the sports and entertainment capital of the world. None other than Las Vegas, Nevada. The we that I am referring to is myself, Jose V. Co-host Rob G, as we do every Wednesday night. And of course, the man that makes it all come together smoothly, Quan, doing his thing behind the big board as he does every single Wednesday night and any other night here on Guerilla Cross Radio for that matter. Quan, thank you for doing what you do, my man. We always greatly appreciate you. Tonight, we are joined by our good friend, Las Vegas radio personality, C-Win, as I like to call him. Chris Winn is in the building with us. We'll have him on the mic and on the video here shortly. Now, we know that you had a lot of things that you could possibly be doing tonight and you decided to join us. But if you are watching us, go ahead and click that like button. Share the video that you're watching to let everyone know what it is you're enjoying tonight this evening. And if you want to drop a comment, we're on all social media platforms, GorillaCross.com. The Guerilla Cross app, if you have not downloaded yet, do so. Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. If you're a YouTuber, it's out there as well. And if not, go back to all these platforms later on. You can rewatch the show whenever you want for your enjoyment. We greatly appreciate you guys joining us here once again on Straight Bet Sports on the Guerilla Cross Radio Network. So with that being said, we have a great show on tap for you guys tonight. But before we let you guys know what we have in store, let me let you guys know what the number is, 702-608-3259. Rob isn't in studio tonight. He's joining us from his house, so he'll be jumping on here with us shortly as well. But Quan, before we get started with the show, please let everybody know who we are being brought to you. We are brought to you by Joshua LaFon with Simply Vegas Real Estate, a realtor here to help educate current and future Las Vegas locals on selling and investing in real estate. You're probably asking yourself, educate. Yes, there's a surprising amount of adults that when it comes to real estate, don't know the right questions to ask, don't know where to start, and think they need a lot of cash to buy a house in Nevada, which simply isn't true. So Josh has decided to make it his responsibility to teach his clients what they need to know, and equally important, what they need to ask to help ensure making their home ownership dreams a true reality. So make sure you call or text Joshua LaFon today at 702-813-0533. This has been another paid advertisement from Joshua LaFon with Simply Vegas Real Estate. Make sure you give him a call, 702-813-0533. That's what's up. That's what's up. Thank you so much, Joshua LaFon, for letting us know what you got for us and for always sponsoring the show. We greatly appreciate you. But now, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into it. Let's introduce my co-host, Rob G. Chilling at home. Last week of quarantine. Hopefully we get you back in the studio next week. Oh, he froze again. Oh, the frozen tundra that is Rob's house. But
frozen tundra.
What's good, man? Everything good with you over there? Everything good?
How are you? Can't wait to get back in the studio.
Yeah, man. Can't wait to get you back in here for sure as well. Tonight, we also have another guest co-host in the studio. Good friend of ours, Las Vegas radio personality, none other than Christian Winn. What's going on, my man? How's everything going?
I'm doing great. It's good to be here. I'm surrounded, Quan, by championship swag. We got Rob sporting the little Dodger, the Dodger cap, on the horn with us. And then across the way, I got Jose with his Lake Show and his LA Dodger gear. Just championships everywhere.
This is a Kobe jersey.
It's sick. It is. It's nice. You got the KB logo on the front.
But yeah, man, good stuff tonight. Going to be a good show. Yeah. C-Win didn't hit his over. We're going to talk betting here in a little bit. See Win special. He was Rob. He was waiting on the over in the Phoenix game, bro. He comes in here like, I need 220, bro. I'm good. Yeah. And then once he sat down, there's a minute left. No, I'm not good. It's over. I got it.
I just need a couple buckets. Need a couple buckets. Didn't come through.
Couldn't get the stops. Couldn't get the fouls. Couldn't get the points, man. But we got a great show on tap for you guys tonight. Like I said, UFC earlier today in the morning. I got up at 6:30. Couple good fights. I bet on the final two. I took both of the dogs. They came through. I'm going to let you guys know what I saw there. Good stuff. Conor McGregor also coming up here this Saturday. I know Quan's got some thoughts on that. I want to pick his brain on it because he's a big UFC guy. So, Quan, don't shake your head because we're gonna get a couple words out of your mouth tonight. But UFC Fight Island 8 tonight, which they call it UFC Fight Night in Dubai, was pretty fun. Canelo Alvarez is also set to return back to the ring. We have his opponent. We have the date. We'll talk about that as well. Kevin Durant, KD, Kyrie, James Harden, Super 3.
All on the same team.
We'll see what that's working.
They're all there.
And if it is working, we'll talk about that. How long will it last? Phillip Rivers calls it quits. I'll give you guys my thoughts on that. Deshaun Watson, is he going to the Jets? Who knows? We'll talk about that. We'll get everyone's thoughts on that and where you think he might go if he does get traded. And, of course, we have our Final Four in the NFL. The games are set. The lines are out. The betting odds are there. We're going to break them down. We're going to see Wynn's thoughts, see who he likes, what he's betting, get Rob's thoughts, see what he's betting, and try to interact with the followers out there on Facebook. If you guys are going to watch the NFL games this weekend, if you're a big football fan, let us know who you like. If you're betting it, let us know who you're going to bet on and what your thoughts are there as well. So, guys, with that being said, let's go ahead and jump right into it. I know not all of you guys watched the UFC today, so I'll be brief with it. Michael Chiesa, how do you say it, Mike? Quan, come on, you got to help me out here.
Honestly, I know how to say it, and you just messed me up. It's dang, I don't know now. Chiesa or
Michael Chiesa basically dominated Neil Magny today.
Is it Chiesa?
Chiesa.
Let's say Chiesa.
Okay.
He dominated Neil Magny. If you guys saw the fight, which I did, he basically had him on the ground the whole fight. Now, I'm barely getting into UFC. I'm learning a lot more. I'm learning a lot more about these fighters and these styles. I'm normally the guy that likes these guys to go head up, hit each other hard. I like to see the knockouts. I like to see the hits. I normally complain when I see grappling, but you know what? Now that I'm learning more about the sport, more about MMA, what I saw today and what I saw in that match, if you guys did not see it, it was beautiful. Like, I normally complain about grappling, but he controlled the fight the whole way. Not only was he on top of the guy and just not letting him do anything, he was also hitting him. He was also dominating. He was doing things that was just not allowing Neil Magny to do anything. The judges' scorecard had it a unanimous decision as well. He dominated every single round. A lot of people are saying that he's probably the next up-and-coming guy in the welterweight division. He did call out Kobe Covington after the fight, basically telling him the election is over. You know what I mean? Stop it. I want you next. Now, the fight before that as well, Waverly Alvarez. Alves. Brazilian guy. He was also a dog. By the way, I bet on both of them. Alves was a plus 200, and I'm going to let you know what I bet. Doesn't matter. But he came through and won the fight. The other fight with Nagy, he was the favorite. Chiesa was the dog, plus 130. Not that much of a big dog, but I decided to take him as well. And they're just two good, outstanding fights, man. Alves won by a rib kick, breaking the guy's ribs, I believe. Basically took him down, just dominated, and ended that fight. Didn't have to go the distance there. But UFC's putting out good events, Quan. I know you follow UFC a lot. And for them to put out a 6 a.m., 6:30 a.m. card like they did today, coming all the way from Dubai, for some of us that didn't work today and had that opportunity to watch, it was pretty sweet. You didn't get to watch all of it, but what are your thoughts on Dana White and UFC doing stuff like that this early?
You're right. I barely watched any of it, but I mean, I got home at 6. You know, I did my little 2 fights. I watched the first 2 fights. They were really good fights, by the way. Habib's cousin, Umar Nurmagomedov.
Was he the first fight?
That was his first UFC fight. He January 20th, 2021. January 20th, 2012 was Habib's first UFC fight.
Okay.
So 9 years from the date he fought.
Nice.
And pretty much won the same exact way with the chokehold from behind. So that was a really good fight. The fight after that was really good. But Dana White and UFC doing this to kick off UFC, having 3 fights in 1 week in Abu Dhabi has been amazing. They actually have fans in the stadium. There was 2,000 on Saturday. I think there was 2,000 again today.
Nice.
And there's supposed to be 6,000
for the Conor fight
on Saturday for McGregor, which that's going to be at like 3 in the morning in Abu Dhabi time, because they're actually, premiering it here at regular UFC time, which is going to be 7
p.m. West Coast time.
West Coast time for the main card. So I think it's been really dope. I've said it before. Dana White helped open up other sports to continue, over the summer with continuing with UFC. So I think it's been great. There was great fights on Saturday. It was the ABC card. First time combat sports has been on ABC since I believe the year 2000.
Okay.
So there was some really good fights in that main card. So I think it's been great, man. UFC is looking really good, and they're growing steadily, really quick as a major sport in the U.S. and all around the world.
What do you think? Did you watch any of it, Chris?
I watched a couple of the fights. I saw the Villanueva submission, and then a little bit of the Alves matchup, but I didn't catch a lot of the early stuff, the undercard stuff. I will say this about UFC: it is exciting to get decisions like that. Not decisions. If you're going to have fights that only last 2 rounds, it's exciting to have a visual.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, and in a way where it's exciting and it gets people jacked up. Also, I think it's cool that how they're doing this with Fight Island over in the UAE with Elliott Stadium, the brand new stadium they built over there. It's a good setup.
Beautiful.
And it's going to be I think that's going to be something that's going to be very beneficial, I think, for UFC and for MMA as a whole, to be able to use that, because it's a nice venue, and it looks like the events that they've had over there have been pretty good. So I think that's going to be a major benefit for the UFC.
What do you think, Rob? Did you see any of it?
You know what? It was kind of crazy. I was working on my computer this morning, and I saw something on ESPN Plus about having fights on right now, and so I put it on, and it was live. It was kind of crazy to have them on that early in the morning. I don't know how good that was from a betting standpoint of how many people actually
in-game wagering, baby.
I guess diehard fans knew that they were on, but I don't know from a betting standpoint how many people actually bet on it. But I did watch some of it. It was kind of background noise to me, but it is kind of cool that they're going to have 3 fights this week. So I am looking forward to the fight this weekend. I already have plans and stuff to watch that fight. So that's the main one that I'm really interested in.
So Conor McGregor's fighting on Saturday. Second time he fights Dustin Poirier, if I'm not mistaken, knocked him out in the first round, first fight, right, Quan?
Yeah, first, I think, minute and a half.
And this was 6 years ago, correct? 2014?
Yeah.
So do you see there being any difference from the first fight to the second fight now? Can you see the same thing happening? Or do you think that Dustin Poirier is going to come out a lot different in this fight, knowing what happened in the first fight?
The thing with Conor is you never know what to expect with a Conor fight, and I think that's a good thing. He could take it, all 5 rounds, or he could, do what he did with Cowboy and beat him in 41 seconds. Poirier, I believe, is a much better fighter than he was back then. I think he's got some really good wins. He's had the title since then. So I think it's going to be a really good fight. I think he could actually I think it's a 3-round fight. I'm going with Conor in the third, but it really could go either way. I think so many people are giving Conor the win that might give Poirier a big boost, because no one's picking him to win. He really has nothing to lose with that. But don't sleep on Poirier, man. He's been fighting really good, and I think it's going to be a tough battle in there. But UFC definitely needs Conor and wants Conor to dominate, because they want him to keep rising, get his stock back up, and hopefully fight Khabib. If he dominates Poirier, I think him and Khabib could possibly fight. Or Max Holloway, who just fought on Saturday and dominated. Conor's calling him out now, too, because that would be a good fight, even though he dominated Max Holloway a few years ago. Max Holloway was only 21 at the time. He was pretty new. Max Holloway's a way different fighter as well. So I think that'd be a super exciting fight if that happens. So the UFC definitely needs Conor to keep rising up, because the thing with Conor, even if he loses 5 in a row, his name is still big enough to sell fights.
Yeah.
But it's not going to be as marquee as it would be if he's like winning all these fights and then gets to get another rematch against Khabib, or gets to fight Holloway or whoever's next up.
I'm interested to see the fight, but I don't want it to end the way that it ended the last fight against Cowboy Cerrone. Like I want to see a little more action. I don't want to see Conor get dominated, but I do want to see Conor get hit. I want to see get Conor taken to the ground. I want to see what he has, because in that fight against Cowboy, we didn't see anything. It's great to see him come back and win and dominate the way he did. That's awesome. Conor McGregor style. We know he can do that. But I want to see what's going to happen when he gets in trouble. When he is in that pressure position that he has to think, am I behind in this round or am I behind in this fight? I don't think it'll happen here. I think he does win. I agree with Quan. I can see 3 rounds. But I want to see something happen in this fight. I don't want to just see a quick finish.
So you want to see Conor McGregor dig deep, right?
Exactly.
And actually
That's
be able
exactly
to
what I
see
want.
exactly what he has, and if he's able to come back and, handle his business like he should be able to.
Definitely. Yeah. Rob, what do you think?
I don't think he has that side of him. I mean, he hasn't been really he's been put in that situation a few times. And I think, one of them was against, I can't think of his name. I apologize.
Diaz?
The BMF.
Diaz?
Yeah. In that situation, obviously he got tapped. And then the second one was really good too. But I don't think he has a ground game. I honestly don't think McGregor has a ground game. We saw what Khabib did to him on the ground. He's a stand-up fighter, so if I were to go in there fighting, if I were Poirier, I would definitely want to take this to the ground, because I honestly don't think McGregor has a ground game at all. So if you're going to take advantage of it and you're going to, take that big shot, take him to the ground.
Once again, you are tuned in to Straight Bet Sports here on the Guerilla Cross Radio Network. We are joined today by our in-studio guest co-host, Chris Winn, right here from Las Vegas, Nevada, hanging out with us in studio, talking with Rob G and me, Jose V. Quan behind the big board doing what he does every night. We got another person in the studio tonight that has been MIA for a few months now, so we got to give him a little bit of stuff for it. But he's back, hooking us up with some pictures behind the scenes. Joel B. I appreciate you, B. Joel's here. Yup. See, you're not in studio, but Joel is. But it's okay, bro. I get it. You're on quarantine. You got to take care of yourself. But moving on from MMA, guys, Canelo Alvarez will return to the ring February 27th versus mandatory challenger Avni Yildirim. I hope I said his name right. If not, oh well. This fight will be in Miami Gardens at the Hard Rock Stadium. The fight will be broadcasted on DAZN and all pay-per-view cable platforms except for Mexico, which is kind of weird because it's a Canelo fight. You would think that you'd be able to watch it out there. Now, if you guys saw Canelo's last fight, which I did, where he dominated previously undefeated champion Caleb Smith on December 19th, Canelo went away with the WBA, WBC, and the Ring Super Middleweight titles. Now, safe to say he's the best pound-for-pound fighter in the sport of boxing right now, because no matter who he fights or what fights he takes, they're great fights. He dominates these guys, and he's beating champions. He's saying, give me who you want. He even came out after that fight and said, I'll take another Triple G if that's what the fans want, but I've already proven myself against this guy. Now, I'm pretty sure he'll win this fight too. I've never heard of the guy that he's fighting. I want to see the Triple G fight again. I know I keep harping on that over and over again, and people say no, but right now that's probably the good money fight for him. What are you guys seeing in this? Anything, Rob? Because C wins like I'm out. He taps out.
I didn't say I'm out.
All right. Well, I'm sorry. I'm trying to fix my screen right here. All I can see is myself frozen on the screen right now, which I'm pretty sure that's not what everyone else can see. But I want to see Canelo. I'm be honest with you. I know he's already got that L against Mayweather, and I don't really think he's been challenged in his last few fights. I honestly, I'm not a huge Canelo fan, but I would like to see him lose one of these fights in his DAZN deal. There we go. Well, it just fixed me. There you go. I would like to see him lose at least once in this deal that they have with DAZN, that he has with DAZN. But I don't really think it's going to come. It's going to be this fight right here. I don't know how many. I know they were kind of going through the with the courts and stuff like that. I don't know how many fights he has left. But I would. Is he fighting on? First of all, is he fighting on DAZN on this one? Am I right on that one?
This
still?
one's on DAZN and also other pay-per-view platforms that you can download. Yep, definitely.
Got you. Okay, yeah, I know he's going to eventually be off of DAZN, but I would like to see. I know it's a little shorter than than we expect him to be on DAZN, but I would like to see him lose one under this contract that they have with him. So maybe not this one. I'm not really interested in this one, but maybe the next one.
There's a couple possibilities, right? There's Smith, the kid who's the the super middleweight titleist, I think, is one guy they thought of maybe matching up with him. Also, there's the I think there's is it Bivol also is another guy that they're also looking to match
There's
up
a
Canelo
couple
with
guys
too.
that they're trying to match him up with. I've even heard
he's a light heavyweight
Saunders.
titleist. Obviously we know about Canelo. He can move within, move within divisions.
Move within divisions with no problem.
But those are the two guys that come to my mind. That would be matchups for him that would have a box office draw, other than obviously Triple G.
Yeah.
But who knows? I got to be honest with you. You mentioned the guy's name who he's fighting next. No idea.
No idea who he is.
No idea.
He's undefeated.
Okay?
That's all I do.
And
know.
I've worked in sports. I've worked in sports radio in
That's all I
Vegas
know,
for
he's
10
Turkish.
years, and we talk boxing sometimes here in Vegas on sports radio, and I have no idea who the guy is he's fighting. So I don't know anything about him. So, I don't know what that says about me, but I know it says about about the sport of boxing as of right now when it comes to the casual fan. When it comes to the fan that doesn't exactly is wired in when it comes to the possible opponents for a guy like Canelo Alvarez.
And I think especially during this COVID era, you need to sell these fights right now, right? And Canelo obviously sells himself, but not having an opponent, especially in boxing. Boxing is struggling with finding two top boxers that fight each other.
Right.
That's been the problem in boxing. So you're not getting those casual fans tuned in like you would if he was. Honestly, another Triple G fight would draw the crowd again.
It would.
Without question.
And so he needs to start fighting bigger names, because even the last fight wasn't really a name I knew of, and I think that's kind of been the gripe of boxing in general. But now, like, even people that are into boxing don't even know this next opponent that much at all, and it's hard to sell that. And I don't know if that's part of DAZN's fault for trying to be the main promotion behind all this, and that might be a reason why he's leaving. But I think that's a struggle.
I think he's marketable no matter what, but it is a struggle because when you have an organization like the UFC, which you follow a lot, and they're bringing out fights like they did today, even a card with guys that weren't really known, like you said, there wasn't that many guys that were known today. But if you saw those fights compared to some of these, no disrespect, we had a top-ranked boxer on. I don't want to disrespect top rank, but if you look at some of these top-ranked, boxing matches that they've been out here, and some of these undercards, they're horrible. No disrespect to Bob Arum and top-ranked boxing, but they're not putting out those good undercards. So I totally get it. It is hurting the sport of boxing when you're not getting these big names, and at least big names that can actually fight and continue to keep moving forward. I mean,
Especially when we got UFC.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially when we got UFC doing all this.
Exactly, man. UFC is top notch right now. Definitely, they're doing what they're doing. But moving on, man, let's go ahead and move forward. Let's go away from boxing. Let's go away from the MMA. Good stuff there. Let's move into some NBA action. What I do want to talk about when it comes to the NBA, obviously, is the new big three that we have in Brooklyn. You have Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, which he finally decided to come back. He got his head straight. He said he needed some time. I get it. Away from his, had some stuff going on with family, personal stuff. It is what it is. We're not him. We're fans. We're media people. We don't know what's going on through his head, what he's really going. We can just speculate instead we would want and criticize the guy all we want from what we see. But he's back. James Harden is there. He got his wish. He got traded to Brooklyn. They're the team to beat in the East. I'm sorry. Giannis is probably wondering, why did I sign that contract extension? I don't know what I'm going to do now. But that doesn't necessarily mean they're the team to beat in the NBA, that they're the NBA team that's going to win the championship. Case in point tonight, they get blown out in double overtime. They lose by 12 to the Cleveland Cavaliers. Okay? Yes, Kevin Durant had his 38 points off of 50 minutes. Kyrie, 37 points coming back. Harden, 21. Which begs the question. When you have three guys on the court, guys, Winn, Rob, that can score 30 points on any given night, you only have 24 seconds on that shot clock. Someone's got to give up the ball a little bit less. As where we saw tonight, that person was James Harden. Now, is this going to be something that James Harden is going to accept moving forward? We know the type of guy he is. He needs the ball in his hand. He wants to score. Is he going to take that step back because he has that respect for KD and knows the type of player he is? Is Kyrie going to take that step back? I don't think Kyrie is. I think Kyrie's ego is way too big. I'm sorry. And that's just my opinion. You don't have to agree with me. But I think his ego is just way too big. I don't think he's going to take a step back. As crazy as it sounds, I can see James Harden being the guy taking that step back for the betterment of the team. He's still going to get his points. He's still going to get his minutes. But he can also he can also give up dimes. People don't understand that. They don't give him enough credit for that. He can give up the ball when need be. So think about it. If he's got two guys on his team now that can do what he can do, then that alleviates pressure off of him because he knows what he can still bring to the table, but he knows he doesn't have to push himself that hard night in and night out. Now, thoughts? Agree, disagree?
Rob, you want to go first? Do you want me to jump on And
I'll go first. I mean, I watched.
And real quick, Rob. Jose said it was a blowout. It was actually a double overtime win. I know they won by 12, but it was double overtime. So can't really call it overtime blowout.
All right.
Just to clarify. It was a double overtime. Double overtime blowout.
Yeah, a double over. Yeah, that kind of caught me off guard too. I watched most of that game today, and I felt like Kyrie was the one that really kind of, since he's coming back for the first time, I really felt like he should have been the one that maybe facilitated the ball a little bit better, and kind of, he's joining the team, but they didn't, they took him to overtime, but that game, Cleveland was winning that entire game. KD hit a few big shots at the end to kind of get them into overtime, but Cleveland was really winning that whole game. And I think Kyrie should have taken a step back a little bit, being his first game. But like you said, James Harden was the one that took the step back when he's the one that's been playing. So I think, of course, we go back to Kyrie. And last week, I think we said, I even said it or a couple of weeks ago, that Kyrie is very cancerous. He's a cancer to this team. He's a cancer, probably in the eyes of the commissioner as well. So if this team is going to succeed and compete, because honestly, I still like the Bucks. With these three on this team, I think that the Bucks are a better team overall. I think they've been playing together for a few years now. They know each other. Where they're going to be out on the floor. I look for the Bucks to kind of maybe take it this season, at least in the East still. And I don't think Giannis is going to be upset about signing that, even though he didn't know that James Harden was going to end up with the Nets. But Kyrie should definitely take a step back, in my opinion, at least for the first couple games to get things going, because he's joining this team after doing whatever he needed to do. But I honestly think that he's the biggest downfall of this team.
See, Win?
So, guys, when this trade went down, what were the two things that people were talking about? They were saying, kind of in a roundabout way, what Jose just said about the shot clock, but they said it like this. There's only one basketball, right? There's only one basketball.
Yep.
And the second question that went on everybody's mind was, all right, how are we going to do this from a priority standpoint? Who's going to be option number one? Who's going to be option number two? And then obviously we would all know who would be option number three. Definitely. The funny thing is that it's kind of gone back and forth. And people have said, well, obviously, it's got to be KD number one, James Harden number two, and Kyrie's got to be number three. Then people started saying, wait a minute, time out, okay? Do you guys know the kind of person Kyrie Irving is? The mentality this guy has from the neck up? He's not going to defer to be the guy that's number three among these three guys. And so that kind of put like a monkey wrench into it when I started hearing people talk about this, right? And this whole dynamic and how it's all going to shake out. Mm-hmm. Make no mistake, it's going to be fun to watch. Yeah. It's going to be interesting beyond belief to see how this all shakes out. But I would agree with Rob. I think it's going to be KD. He's going to be the number one option. Then I think James Harden should be the number one option. And I don't think that should change. And I think that Kyrie Irving needs to put his ego in check, which he's going to have to do, because he's not going to be out there scoring 26. He could have 15 to 17 to 18 dimes a game. Yep. And he could be putting, and he could be, a factor in other areas. I just think if this team is going to be that team that a lot of people expect to be that Eastern Conference champion, or somebody that could actually contend with a Los Angeles Lakers or a Los Angeles Clippers in the West, I think that's what's got to be the pecking order. It's got to be KD. It's got to be the guy that's going to go out there and maybe drop the 45 a night or 40 a night or whatever he's going to do. And then, James Harden, his mindset's going to have to be, you know what, I got to get my buckets too. And then Kyrie's got to be a facilitator. Yep. He's got to be the distributor. And yes, he'll get his points. Jose, like you said, he'll get his 15 to 18 a game. But I don't know if I see this team being successful if Kyrie Irving is the guy that's the number two.
How long do you guys see this lasting? Like I haven't seen too many people talk about, they're finally together, the big three. They're gonna. How long is this gonna last?
They have
at least 2 years.
Three players gonna be.
They have to win the championship by next year. If they don't,
think 2 years,
over.
Rob. Yeah, I think at least 2 years, right?
And all their contracts end exactly at the same time.
So
I think it's.
So the bottom,
I think they're all on 3-year contracts.
The bottom's going to fall out on the Brooklyn Nets.
Same time.
Yeah, all at the same time.
Man. I told you.
And the Nets gave up all their draft picks again, just like they did with the Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce trade. So it has to work. They have to win the championship in 3 years.
And if not, it's over. Pretty much, it's over. All right, fellas, we got some midway point here pretty much on Straight Bet Sports on the Guerilla Cross Radio Network. Jose V, Rob G, Quan 59. We are joined in studio by C. Winn. Let's move into some football talk real quick, guys. Don't want to harp on it too much, though, because I want to get your thoughts more on the actual games here moving forward. But Phillip Rivers did announce his retirement today from the NFL, ending his 17-year career that he was spent with the Los Angeles and San Diego Chargers and, of course, the Indianapolis Colts this past season. Rivers ranks 5th all-time in NFL history with 63,440 passing yards, behind only Drew Brees, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, and Brett Favre. He's an 8-time Pro Bowler. He's also 5th in the league history with 421 touchdown passes. Same thing, behind Brady, Brees, Manning, and Favre. Crazy thing, too. I was never a fan of Phillip Rivers before this game, and I'm about to mention that game. And it's funny because his announcement comes exactly 13 years to the day when Phillip Rivers played with a torn ACL in his loss against the New England Patriots in the AFC Championship game. The way I saw him play in that game, for him to gut it, and both of his knees were beat up, by the way. For him to play the way he played that game, to try to will his team to victory, and they didn't. I don't remember. I don't think they got blown out. I think they were in that game. It was a snow blizzard. I remember that. Weather was horrible. I gained so much respect for him as a quarterback. The fact that he can talk trash better than anyone without using profanity, out of all things, which is crazy, is amazing to me. Phillip Rivers, enjoy yourself. Enjoy your 12 and a half or what? 12 kids. I'm sorry. I don't know why I came up with a half number there. But your 12 kids, enjoy them. Now, here's the question, and it's the question that's going to be everywhere. Is he a Hall of Famer? I've had this discussion with numerous people, with numerous fans, and especially Charger fans. And I've gone over and over and over, and it's like a broken record. First ballot Hall of Famer? No way in hell is he a first ballot Hall of Famer. I don't blame him for having the situations he had in LA, in San Diego, because he had some horrible teams there. He had some horrible coaching, some horrible situations overall. I think he's probably third ballot Hall of Fame, give or take. He's a Hall of Famer. I'll give him that. Not taking that away from him. But one thing that Colin Cowherd likes to harp on is just because guys play 30, 100 years or 30 years or 50, you know what I mean? A large amount of years to accumulate those stats don't necessarily make them first ballot or make them the greatest of all time. Now, his stats are great. He's 5th all time in both of those categories. We get that. He hasn't won a championship. I don't think a championship really matters, but he never got to one. That's one of the biggest things. If he would have got to one, it would have changed it a little. But I still say third ballot Hall of Famer, give or take. Guys, what are your thoughts?
Go ahead, C.
I'm telling you, I immediately, when we started talking about Phillip Rivers, I had this comparison in my head to Charles Barkley in the NBA. Now, look, I'm not saying, okay, Phillip Rivers is as good in the NFL as Charles Barkley was in the NBA. But I immediately, in my head, went to that, oh, really good, great, could be a great player, never won a championship, right? And never really, look, Barkley got to the finals in 93. I don't think many people thought that the Suns were going to win that championship, okay? We saw who they're playing. So, saying that, I think, yes, he is a Hall of Famer. He's going to get in the Hall of Fame because, I just look at it and look, he wasn't, the 1 and 2 like Ryan Leaf and Eli Manning were in that draft. But for some reason, I just feel the need to compare Phillip Rivers and Eli Manning because their careers parallel themselves. We all understand, and it brings up that point about the Hall of Fame. And Jose, you just alluded to it, okay, about guys that have a bunch of stats. And obviously, it's not true in Eli's case because he has 2 championships against, by the way, Tom Brady and the Patriots. But I think of a guy like an Eli. The reason he's getting in is because he's got a ton of stats.
He's
right?
not a first ballot Hall of Famer either.
Exactly. So, I pretty much, he's got 2 Super Bowls, so that's
still
going to
not
get him
a first ballot.
But he's not going to be a first ballot, as is Phillip Rivers is not going to. But you mentioned those numbers, Jose. I got to believe he's going to eventually get in. He's not going to be first ballot, probably not second, but he's getting in.
Rob, your thoughts, quick.
Personally, I don't think he is a Hall of Famer. Will he get in? I don't. Will he get in, though? Yeah, he'll get in. But honestly, I think the reason he's gonna get in is because I've seen this in the past before too, where it just depends on what class, who's on that ballot, right? And sometimes if it's a weak ballot, then he's gonna those players that are like Phillip Rivers are gonna get in. So it just depends on how many ballots it takes him to get in and who falls off and who comes on that ballot, which can help him or hurt him. Time will only tell. By the time I don't even know how many years is it after you retire that you can go on your first ballot? If you guys know, is it 5?
I want to say 5, isn't it?
It's 5.
Yeah,
I think it is 5 years.
I think it's 5 years. So it just depends on who's on that ballot. I think he's gonna. I think I don't think he's personally a Hall of Famer, but like I said, I think he's gonna become I think he's gonna make it. He'll I don't know. I don't remember how many times you can actually stay on the ballot before you fall off, but eventually he's going to be on a ballot where it's weak enough where he's going to be at the top of it, and he'll get his way in. So he was I love the trash talker. I love the trash talker in him. He never really really kind of got over that hump and made it. Did he even make it to an AFC championship? I don't believe so.
That's the one that I was talking about when he lost to the Patriots.
Yeah. Is that okay? I apologize. And well, sorry, Phillip Rivers. But yeah, just really kind of obviously 17 years you pile up all those stats and everything like that, but just wasn't as consistent as I really wanted to see him out of a quarterback that's going to be maybe a first or second Hall of Famer, ballot Hall of Famer, but third ballot, possibly maybe fourth.
So moving on, guys. Obviously, we're not a political show, but today was a huge day for
something
the United
happened
States.
today, Jose?
Just a little something. As Quan likes to say, he is
changing.
Not my president. And we're talking about the guy that's not there anymore, so don't get mad.
A changing
of the guards today.
Yes.
Real quick, just want to say congratulations to Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, first female and just black female as well.
Yes, women of color.
To be vice president. And I saw a funny meme that my sister sent me. It was Obama and Biden together, and it says, "Party at my crib, DM me for the Addy."
Oh boy,
it's fun times, man. And I'm not digging at anyone. If you voted for the other guy, hey, that was your choice. We're not here to fight with you, but just wanted to say congrats to the new president and our new vice president. But moving forward, guys, real quick, we got a couple minutes here. Let's jump into this. Let's not harp on it too quick or too much. But the New York Jets, if we're being dead serious right now, have more capital than anyone to trade for Deshaun Watson, the disgruntled quarterback that a lot of people are saying, or reports are coming out of Houston, he's gone or he's played his last game for the Houston Texans. From the way it sounds and from everything that I'm reading, it sounds like it could be true. I don't think Deshaun Watson is going to return to the Houston Texans. Now, where he's going, I don't know. I don't have sources like that. I don't have inside people. Hey, Quan says he knows, so we'll see. But when it comes to draft capital, I believe we got 4 first-round draft picks within the next 2 years or 5, something like that. We have Sam Darnold, which, as crazy as it sounds, the Houston Texans will probably take a Sam Darnold with some draft picks right now. We have the number 2 pick in the NFL draft, which if you're Houston, you can take someone like Justin Fields if you want to take that quarterback or any other quarterback you may see fit that you want to take. Because there's going to be a couple good quarterbacks coming out of this draft, especially if you want to get something early. Now, if you're Houston, you can also get something really good at that number 2 pick if you want to just change your organization in general. Remember when they drafted with Mario Williams back in the day with the number 1 overall pick? Make that type of splash. Now, I'm not saying it's going to happen. As a Jets fan, trust me, I would love to see Deshaun Watson as long as we don't ruin his career and we try to give him a little more. We saw what he can do with nothing. The kid can make it happen. It's not about talent. You give him more of it, though, he can show you that he can do better, and I guarantee you the kid can be a winner. He's already proven it at Clemson. Guys, what do you think? Is this a possibility? If not, where do you see him possibly going real quick?
You make a great case for the Jets. I still find it kind of just strange that this is an organization that's going to move on from a guy that they drafted at the very top of the draft just a matter of a couple years ago. I mean, so if we're the Jets, we're just giving up on Sam Darnold now? Is that what's going on here? We're just giving up on him?
I'm not a fan of SC guys coming to the East Coast, especially, the New York Jets. And I'm an SC fan.
Well, pertaining to Deshaun Watson, there are going to be a lot, and there are, Jose and Quan and Rob, a lot of suitors. okay? There is a lot of scenarios out there where Deshaun Watson can be looked at as a piece that can get you maybe over the top, maybe, a contending playoff squad if he comes there and his head's right and he plays like we know he can play and that he's shown he can play, okay? There are all kinds of opportunities, whether it's in New Orleans with the Saints, whether it's in Indianapolis with the Colts, whether it's in Los Angeles with the Rams, whether it's in Detroit with the Lions if they end up making a move away from Matthew Stafford, my guys. There are a lot of places, and the Jets are one of those places. And so I hear that list of, draft picks that you lined up there, Jose, and, other pieces that they could send to Houston. It sounds attractive. I'm not going to lie. You say Sam Darnold, I think Sam Darnold has a chance to be a hell of a quarterback in this league. And maybe the Texans pull the trigger on that and say, all right, we'll take Sam Darnold and we'll take a bunch of your first-round draft picks, okay? A bunch meaning a couple, probably, right, with Sam Darnold. Yeah. Maybe 3. Let me tell you something. If the Texans get 3 draft picks from the Jets and get Sam Darnold for a guy who wasn't great last year, okay, and he's shown that he can play in the NFL, and he's shown flashes of greatness with Deshaun Watson. I'm telling you though, if the Jets can do that, boom, I'd be all over it if I was New York.
You kind of sold me on what the Jets have to offer. From a player perspective. If I were Deshaun, I would honestly want to maybe possibly look at going to the Saints. That team is ready. They just need a quarterback just to kind of just move in, right? The bed's already made. They just need a quarterback to move in. I don't think Jameis is the future. I don't think Jameis is
Winston?
the future for that team.
Not at all.
Even though he did throw a nice touchdown.
Crab leg.
But from a team perspective and what the Texans can actually get for Watson, I think you got me sold because this draft, honestly, is all about Trevor Lawrence. I think it's Trevor Lawrence or bust. I don't really know how many quarterbacks will be coming out this year, but I feel like he's going to be the entire spotlight versus last year where we had Tua, we had Herbert, we had I think 4 quarterbacks. I know Jordan Love was mixed in there a little bit later, and then we had Burrow, of course, right? But this year is just literally Trevor Lawrence or bust. And from a team perspective, like I said, I think if the Texans were smart, they would trade him to the Jets to get as much as they could. And like C-Win just said, three first rounds, and you've got a deal in Sam Darnold. Like that's a no-brainer for that organization. So if I were Deshaun, I would maybe try to talk them into getting to the Saints to get me to the Saints. But from a I don't know how you beat what the Jets have to offer, especially if it's kind of almost set in stone that the Jags are going to take Trevor Lawrence. Especially with the hiring of Urban Meyer.
Can I jump in and push back a little bit on Rob here? Because on the quarterback thing, I'll be quick. The quarterback thing, there's some pieces out there in this draft at quarterback. This kid Wilson out of BYU, I love him. Mm-hmm. This kid Lance out of, I think it's North Dakota State, can play. Obviously, Justin Fields out of Ohio State, and even Mac Jones with Alabama. So there's some other pieces at quarterback other than a guy who, by the way, they're basically printing up jerseys right now, right? Aren't they in Jacksonville for Trevor Lawrence? Yeah. So I don't even know if that's not even like a controversy, really. What Trevor Lawrence is going to be or where he's going to end up. He's going to be a Jaguar, right? And so I think there's just a lot of pieces out there at the quarterback position that are going to be intriguing, to say the least, in this year's draft.
Can I chime in real quick on
Go
this?
for it.
Yeah.
The Jets sounds nice. They can give Houston a lot, right?
Yeah.
Do you know what Deshaun Watson has on his contract?
A no trade clause.
A no trade clause. So he would have to want to go to New York.
And it's a great point. Yep.
And I'm not sure if he looks at that team saying he does. There's been talks about him maybe open to go to Miami because they do have more of a team.
Him and his agent like the New York Post cover from Instagram.
That's fine.
Saying that the Jets should give away whatever.
And he was also, they've been trolling because he was also on Instagram, somebody posting a picture of him in a 49er jersey, and he liked that.
Okay. Okay.
So
he's probably just showing his options.
I am going to Quanstradamus this, and he is going to San Francisco. Take Jimmy G. Yeah, I like Jimmy G.
Yes, Rob's a 49er fan too.
You get a good quarterback in Jimmy G. The money matches. And 49ers have some draft picks they could throw. Obviously not top draft picks. But listen, he has a built-in team that could easily win the Super Bowl if he's there, because the only thing 49ers are missing is health and a quarterback that could actually make that throw at the end of a Super Bowl to get a touchdown and win the game. But
okay, So
that would be very dangerous, and nobody that's not a 49er fan would like that at all.
So if it does happen, you heard it here first on Straight Bet Sports on Guerilla Cross Radio.
Quastradamus.
Exactly. Hashtag Quastradamus. So guys, before we move on to the NFL action of this weekend, we got about 15 minutes. I just want to say thank you to everyone on social media, my friends, my family that called me, that text me throughout these last couple days, especially yesterday was my birthday, turned 37. And also a big shout out to my wife, Bernice Volonte. Thank you so much for our trip to Miami to visit my dad, to visit my sisters. It was a short, quick trip. I had a blast. We had fun. Thank you so much for that. I greatly appreciate you, and I love you so much. Thank you. So moving on, guys, let's go ahead and jump into some NFL action. Our Final Four is set. We have Brady versus Rodgers, Allen versus Mahomes. So we basically have youth versus the veterans, right, guys? We have the storied history versus the future of the NFL. I'm excited about both games. I like that Buffalo's in this. I like that Kansas City's in this right now because of the whole, will Mahomes play? Will it be Chad Henne time again in Kansas City? We don't know yet. I mean, they're trying to push him through this concussion protocol, but at the end of the day, you got to be careful.
Well, you got to go through it.
Exactly. You got to finish all of that.
You can't push anybody through anything.
You gotta finish it and got to make sure that you pass everything. So that's the last game we're going to talk about. Let's start with Tampa Bay and Green Bay. Since this is Straight Bet Sports, we are going to talk about the betting here. In these games, currently, from what I'm looking at, MGM, Caesars, William and Hill, currently sitting at -3 for Green Bay. 62% of the money against the spread is on Green Bay. 70% of the money line overall that is being bet also on the Green Bay Packers. So basically, people are high on Green Bay in this game, at least early on in the week. It's only Wednesday. We got a lot of time, guys, before we get to Sunday. Lots of time, lots of money that can still be bet. Lots of people coming into town. As crazy as it sounds, we get a lot of action here during the weekends of the championship games, not just the Super Bowl, because that's when it starts. People start coming here early to get that action. This is going to be a fun one to watch. I said it last week. I don't think you could beat Tom Brady 3 times. It's tough to do. He proved that. Aaron Rodgers is having one of the greatest, if not the greatest seasons of his career. The way he's throwing the ball is just insane. But yet, I don't trust this Green Bay defense if they fall behind early with the Tampa Bay team that they have right now offensively. It just seems like every position is stacked. You have receiver after receiver, Mike Evans, Antonio Brown, which I know he might not play. You got Godwin. You got even a guy like Scotty Miller that can surprise you out of nowhere and streak down the sideline and catch a bomb. You got Rob Gronkowski. You still got Calvin Brake. You have options in running back with Fournette or Ronald Jones. And Ronald Jones has had a quad injury, and Fournette started the other game, but yet Ronald Jones still played decent in that game as well. Green Bay has to stop Tom Brady. Simple and plain. You have to keep that offense off of the field. If you're Green Bay offensively as well, you have to solidify the running game. You have to give Aaron Jones the ball. You have to pound the ball. We know what Aaron Rodgers could do, but you have to pound the ball with Jones and drain that clock. You cannot allow Brady to get on that field. People are saying it's cold, it might snow. Brady played in New England. The weather's not going to be a factor for this guy. It doesn't seem like age is a factor either. Now, if I'm looking at this game and I'm looking at the betting number, guys, I'm staying away from either side. I like the under in this game. Rob knows normally I'm a totals guy. I like to bet the over on every single thing. I think this will be a game based off of possession by Green Bay. I think they will control the ball. I think they're going to run the ball because, like I said, they know what they can do with Aaron Rodgers. You run the ball as well, you're going to open up that play-action passing game, which you know Aaron Rodgers loves that as well. I like the under in this game, though, guys. I'm not touching the side. If I had to say who's going to win, though, I think Green Bay goes to the Super Bowl.
Both these teams matched up about, 3 months ago. There's a lot of football that was played in between the two matchups between these two. Packers jumped out to a big lead in that game. Well, not big. I think they're up 10-0, and then they just fell apart. Aaron Rodgers threw a couple picks. There was a pick 6 for Tampa Bay in that game.
38-10 final, I think, yeah.
You know, you want to take a look at head-to-head matchups, obviously, when you have a matchup like this in the playoffs for the NFC Championship. So you got to take care of the football if you're the Green Bay Packers in this game. You cannot have the mistakes that you had the last time these two teams played. That being said, there's also other factors that are going to come into play here. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers played in a temperature-controlled dome in their last matchup, obviously against the Saints in the divisional playoff, and that's not going to be the situation this week. They're going into Green Bay. It's probably going to be in the 20s. There could be, elements that come into play, whether it's snow, whether it's wind across the board. And a lot of the players for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are Southern guys. When you're talking about guys like Leonard Fournette, when you're talking Mike Evans, guys, warm weather guys, okay, and on the defensive side of the ball too. So, look, I'm not going to put all my eggs in that. The weather of the game is going to determine, how this game shakes out. Basket, but I think it's going to be a factor. And you're not going to see what you saw back in early October between these two teams. Green Bay is, and there's something to be said for momentum in the playoffs. Yes, Tampa Bay has momentum. They came off an impressive win last week. Pretty much everybody, I felt like, was taking New Orleans in the game last week and got burned. This week, though, I think that I'm looking a lot at Tampa Bay like I looked at Cleveland last week with the Browns, in that, had a great game, kind of shocked the world.
Yep.
You beat the Steelers in that game, and then you go on the road and you take on a Kansas City team, and you end up, not playing as great as you played in that previous playoff game. I kind of feel like the Buccaneers are going to do the same type of thing here against the Packers. You brought up Aaron Jones. I think he could be a huge factor in this game. Now, look, Tampa Bay's run defense, the best in football. Yeah. Okay, so
and Sue might be. Yeah. Was it when I think he was out in the last game, or he was hurt?
Sue was banged up, but I think he's playing.
Yeah.
So I anticipate that he'll go. But if Green Bay can get a 60, 70-yard game out of Aaron Jones, maybe a touchdown or two, that gives Green Bay even more of an advantage.
Yeah.
I'm taking the Packers in this matchup. I just am. I think Aaron Rodgers gets it done. Aaron Rodgers is the clear-cut MVP, in my opinion, in the NFL this year.
Yeah, 100%.
And
no doubt.
I think that it's at Lambeau. I think Green Bay gets it done.
Rob?
Man, I hate when I'm like the third person that obviously
third
agrees.
wheel.
I hate when I agree. I'm looking at the weather right now. It looks like it's going to be 29 degrees, 50% chance of snow, 1 to 3 inches. That's Packer time, right? Like, I know Tom Brady has played, with the Patriots in this weather pretty much his entire career, but how about the people that he's playing around him, right? How about the people that are playing around him? That team was there before him, and they're not used to probably that kind of weather, and with that pressure built on that, you gotta play up to Tom Brady's par, up to his level. I like the Packers, plain and simple. I think they win this. I think they win this game. They're at home. I know they're only allowing probably a couple thousand fans. I've been to that stadium myself in this cold weather. And it's a huge advantage. Fans are not for them to be playing on that field. I do lean towards the under as well. To be honest with you, I do lean towards the under. But it's going to be I'm going to be honest with you 100%. And I'll tell you before I even talk about the other game, I'm really not going to bet this weekend on these games. It's just too close to call. These games can go either way. Even with the totals, I'm just giving you kind of like my, what I think is going to happen. But I'll be honest with you. Usually I say I'm going to probably bet this game, but I do not like anything this weekend at all. I want to just sit back and watch these 4 quarterbacks. Hopefully Mahomes is playing, and let the best quarterback win. And hopefully, either way, no matter who wins or loses, we're going to have a great Super Bowl, right? It's not like it's the Browns that are possibly making it into the Super Bowl. No, nothing against the Browns, but either of these teams, whoever wins these 2 games, it's going to be a great Super Bowl, and it's going to be something that the NFL wanted, and it's be something that we're all going to want to see.
So, guys, we got about 7 minutes here, so let's go ahead and run through the final game. Bills versus Chiefs. This is the if game, because what if? We don't know if Patrick Mahomes is going to start. We don't know if Chad Henne is going to get the start. There are reports from what I've read that Chad Henne has been getting a lot of the first-team reps so far. So we'll see how that goes. It could just be precautionary. I get that. Totally understand. This line also sits at 3 right now. Over and under is currently 53.5. 59% of the money's being bet on the Bills against the spread. I know this isn't a crazy prediction or anything like that, guys, but I like Buffalo in this game, with or without Patrick Mahomes. I like the way Josh Allen has been. Right?
Yeah.
Josh Allen has been playing. The addition of Stephon Diggs, bringing him in, was the greatest thing they could have done for this kid's career. It boosted his ego in such a great way and his confidence that you see him throwing that ball, it's effortlessly. The defense is solid. It's nothing super, in my opinion. I don't think they're the greatest defense in the NFL or anything like that. They're a good defense. I think they can stop Kansas City. And not only that, I think Buffalo's offense is going to be too much for Kansas City's defense. Yes, I know they got the Honey Badger. You got Tyrann Mathieu, but if I'm a betting man, I just think there's too much going on overall with Kansas City. I like Buffalo regardless. I have Buffalo and Green Bay going to the Super Bowl, obviously, just from up today from the picks that were given. And call me crazy, and I'm going to call it tonight. I think Buffalo wins the Super Bowl this year. Just because of the way everything is breaking down in the scenarios. I know Green Bay, if they get to the Super Bowl, I know what they're doing offensively with Rodgers. I know what I just said about that, but it's a different matchup. I think Rodgers against Buffalo's defense wouldn't be great. Josh Allen against Green Bay's defense would be something to watch. I know I'm mixing both games up here, but I like Buffalo in this game. I take them on the money line. It's only +3, so it's nothing crazy. Guys, who do you like in this game?
Hit it, Rob. Try it out. I'll go third.
Yeah, I'm looking at the weather again on this one too. 44 degrees, 40% chance of showers. In this situation, I mean, not knowing what Mahomes, not knowing his status, and I think he's going to play. I know Colin Cowherd, I know we always talk about him, but he was making an argument to kind of delay the game so that way Mahomes can be healthy and stuff like that. But I'm going coach versus coach. I like Andy Reid in this situation at home. I think that, him actually hiking the ball on 4th down last week kind of showed the guts that he has, and he knows what the hell he's doing. It kind of caught everyone off guard, and they ended up winning. That was the winning play. Shout out to Chad Henne as well for making like a 14-yard run almost to get to that 1st down.
Anything's possible.
Yeah, exactly. I like the Chiefs just based off of the coach. I know. I think his name is McDermott. Is it McDermott? Right?
Yep.
Right. Yeah. I think they've been on the upswing for a couple years now, but I hate to bet against Andy Reid. Even with, I hate to say it, but even with Chad Henne, or even if they go with maybe like a dual quarterback, something like maybe, we saw it from the Saints this past weekend. Who knows? Maybe they're going to bring in Henne a couple times or in a couple series to kind of, change things up and, throw Buffalo off a little bit. But I like Andy Reid in this situation. I think the Chiefs win. I think they probably cover this spread. I think a lot of people are going to be on the Bills because of the status of Mahomes. And who knows, one big hit from the Bills defense and he could be out again.
True.
I mean, all of us looked at that tackle where he got that concussion. It didn't even look close to his head didn't even touch the ground.
They didn't look that bad,
His head
honestly.
didn't even touch the ground. I don't know how someone walks out of that play with a concussion.
Could have been the pulling of the neck. The pulling of the neck. Think about that. The way he got tackled. It could have been that.
No. Yeah, but usually when we see the concussions, it's head on the ground.
Yeah.
Helmet slapped against the against the turf or the grass. But that was a weird play. It was a freak accident. I think he's ready to play, but I would not be surprised if we see Chad Henne and Mahomes kind of like a dual quarterback in this game.
See, when you got about a minute left, minute and a half, go for it.
Yeah, quickly. These two teams are defensively is going to determine this game. What they do on defense. It's kind of a cat and mouse game right now with the whole Pat Mahomes thing. He was supposed to be a full participant in practice today, and then they downgraded him to a limited participant for the Chiefs. So I got to be honest, man, it's really tough kind of handicapping this game if we don't know he's going to play. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's really hard. But my quick opinion on this is that Buffalo Bills, how they beat the Ravens last week, defense, okay, and big-time plays on defense. Obviously, the play of the game that turned that game completely around was the pick six, okay? So if they're able to do that in Kansas City and they're able to keep Kansas City's running game from being effective, because I don't think that the Chiefs haven't been exactly airing it out big time lately with their offense. I mean, look, we all think of the Chiefs. We think of, right, Kelsey and Tyreek and all these guys and Mahomes slinging around. Yeah. Oh, they have 220-something yards passing last week. So, I mean, it hasn't been that, explosive aerial offense that they've normally had. If they do end up getting back to that, and if Chad Henne ends up playing, obviously that's a big question mark. I like Buffalo in this game. I really do. I think Buffalo, what Josh Allen has added to his game is consistency. He was a guy who was sporadic up until this year in his career. He has changed that. He is now one of the better quarterbacks in football, and it's because of his consistency out there. And so I think Buffalo has a great balance in this matchup, not only offensively but defensively. And I think they put a little bit of surprise. And what I mean by that is they win the game, and they head to the Super Bowl for the first time since we were all younger bucks.
Since the fourth in a row with Jim Kelly.
Since we were younger bucks back in the 90s, the Bills are going to be playing for a chance to win a ring.
There we go, man. Good stuff. Yep. We all agree on the Pack game, but we don't agree on this one. Interesting. We shall see how it goes. Quan, real quick, who do you like in each game?
Kansas City.
Okay.
And I think the Mahomes thing, they're just playing that up to fool everybody.
Yep.
He'll be fine. He's going to play the whole game. Chad Henne will not see a snap unless he gets hurt.
Yep.
And then I do got the Packers as well, but I think that's going to be a good game. But I think there's going to be a lot of pressure on Buffalo. They're playing the Super Bowl champions, so I'm going for them. But I wouldn't mind seeing Buffalo go back to the Super Bowl and lose at the very end of the game either.
There we go. Interesting stuff.
Yeah.
Can't wait. I got something that I'm working on. I don't want to say what it is because I don't want to burn it. But if all goes well, we might have a really good Super Bowl preview show, guys. So if that does happen, definitely see Win. I want you there, man, because I know you're big on betting and you cover all that stuff. So let's keep our fingers crossed. If it happens, we'll definitely let each and every one of you know. We'll notify all of you. If you guys want to come hang out where we do it, we'll let you know if it all goes through. So just keep your fingers crossed for us. But that was a good show, man. Greatly appreciate everyone being a part of it tonight. See Win, let everybody know where they can find you and know everything else you got going on all things social media.
Yeah, you find me at Christian Winn on Facebook and also at Christian Winn on Twitter as well, too. I have a YouTube channel as well where I chime in. A lot during the week, I'm doing a lot of stuff with regards to politics as well as sports on another show that I do. And a quick shout out to Goose, too, for hitting us up on the text line with the giving us the Golden Knights scores. The Golden Knights get it done.
Golden Knights still undefeated on the season.
These guys just keep winning. They don't lose. Undefeated.
I'm telling you, two nights ago, they were down 2-0, and I bet them in-game plus 400. Forgot about the game. They come back and win 4-2.
That's how you do it. That's why Easy you are the Volante, baby.
Rob, any last words?
No, I'm excited for football this weekend. It's going to be good. Like I said, I'm not going to bet it, so I'll be able to actually watch it because I don't watch games that I bet on, which is a little weird. I'm a little superstitious about that. But, yeah, I'm going to sit back, enjoy. I definitely want to see the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. I'll tell you that.
All right, man. Good stuff. Greatly appreciate you guys and everyone watching. You were tuned in to Straight Bet Sports here on the Guerilla Cross Radio Network tonight. My final thought of the night, I just want to go ahead and let this out because I didn't want to talk about it too much on the air and get people riled up and have people going crazy. But I'm going to give you my thoughts on one thing and one thing only. It's the hiring of Urban Meyer. If you guys know me and you know my family, my history, and what we've gone through, then you know that my cousin Rosaura Banwet was murdered by her husband in their home while her grandkids slept in the room with her and her 4 children slept in the house. They had a long history of domestic violence over and over and over again. We try to help her. We try to help her husband. But yet, as you guys hear now, you know what the final end result was. This was a long time ago. It's been over 5 years. We miss her and we love her dearly. With that being said, to me, Urban Meyer is one of the lowest pieces of garbage there is on this earth. For him to still have a job, especially in the NFL. Last night I did my research. I read the 25-page report that Ohio State did, the investigative report that they came out with. There's so much back and forth on there. I knew I did not know. I knew this. What do you guys want me to say? Should I say this? Should I say that? Should I not say this? If your wife came to you and told you what was going on, and you knew about other instances, you knew about the time where he went to the strip club, you knew about his previous arrests, you knew about Zach Smith's previous domestic violence arrests and domestic issues, why do you sweep it under the rug? And Ohio State, if you knew about it, why did you allow him to continue that season and just give him a 2-game slap on the wrist? And ESPN, shame on you for hiring him and allowing him to continue to do the work knowing his history. There's players in the NFL now that I hate and I disgust, but I don't talk about, that have gone through domestic violence as well and are on teams when they should not be on teams. I'm sorry, if you feel that you have to put your hands on a woman, then you are the lowest piece of garbage there is on this earth. A man is more powerful, possibly physically, to hurt a woman. I would rather punch my hand through a wall and let my anger out and walk away than to ever put my hands on a woman. So with that being said, Jacksonville, I never wish bad upon anyone, but I honestly hope that you guys win nothing. I hope you guys go winless, and I hope Urban Meyer's career does not last a full season. With that being said, this has been another Straight Bet Sports episode here on the Guerilla Cross Radio Network. For Rob G, Jose V, Quan 59, Chris Winn, I'm out.